Hello everyone, Steve Myers here with another Creo parametric tutorial. Today's tutorial will answer the question, how do I do an interference check on two parts only, even though there are other parts in my assembly? Stay tuned for the answer. Let's start by taking a look at the Analysis tab in Creo, and I'll expand the list under Global Interference. And I can see that there is a pairs clearance option there, global interference, volume interference, global clearance. But what I don't see is the ability to check the interference between two parts. To get there, I'm going to use the simplified rep functionality in Creo Parametric. What I'll first do is select the two parts that I want to check interference on. So in this case, I'll just grab a hold of this gear and the corresponding shaft, and then just use the right mouse button to set the representation to master for those two parts. Now what that does is turns everything else off in this assembly so that all I have now visible on the screen, and visible to Creo for that matter, is the gear and the shaft. Now it's a simple matter of doing a global interference check, knowing that the only parts visible to Creo are the parts I have on the screen. So previewing this, I can see that no interferences were detected, so I'm good in terms of this gear and this shaft. So I'll go ahead and close this, and I'm also going to set the rest of the parts back to their master reps now to show you another way of approaching this, or actually an expanded use of this same philosophy for checking interference. The best way to get back to the master rep is to simply go to the View Manager, and under the Simplified Rep tab I'll just double click on this master rep that has the plus sign because I made a change there. I'll double click on that and everybody will come back on. Let's just go ahead and get this completely visible on the screen here. Now there's another piece of this picture that I want you to be aware of. Let's suppose that I want to not just check the interference between the gear that I selected and the shaft I selected, but maybe I want to check the interference between, say, any wheel on this assembly and any axis or axle on the assembly. So that would require me to check interference between only parts that have the name or the word wheel in the name, and then only parts that have the word axle or shaft in the name. I'll show you how to do that now. Now if you're familiar with the search tool in Creo, then you know where I'm going next. I need to find parts that have the word wheel and the word axle in them, and I think for grins we'll just throw in the shafts or the gears as well, so that we can check interference between really any shaft in this assembly and any gear or wheel that has a potential to interfere with it. So using Control F at the keyboard, turn on the search tool, and I'm searching for parts, and we'll start with the gear, which is already in there left over from last time. We'll add the gear search to the query, and I will also add axle to the query as well as wheel. These are all now in the query, so let's find them. You can see the axles, the gears, and the wheels there. Selecting all of those and sliding them over to the selected column, I can then use the right mouse button like I did before and simply set the representation to master, which means only the parts I selected will be visible to me and to Creo. And now I can do a global interference check, and only those parts will be considered. And as we do that, we can toggle through these and see that I don't have any interference with the shafts, which is great, but I do have some interference between the gears. So you can see here it's very easily to isolate using, in this case, a combination of the search tool with simplified rep functionality to isolate only those parts that you're interested in checking for interference, no matter how large your assembly is. And then again, getting back to the master rep, a simple matter of going to the View Manager, double-clicking master rep, and we've got everything back on. And now you know how to do an interference check on two parts only. I hope you find this tip useful, and I hope that you come back to the Learning Exchange often to keep your skills sharp. Bye for now.